I finished watching 2 hours of Hegel, and I think I already did that. And I finished now with, how do you say his name? Give me a moment. Zizek. I want to say Zizek's ideology is another form of culture, one based upon money. It's actually mostly just a part of culture, not a form of it, truly. Subculture. It's reliant on how culture affects people, but with the idea of money and using some different psychological theory to say, well, this is how it controls people, instead of the idea of grooming and how people are normalized to this sort of ideas in the first place. No, they don't just accept it because of whatever reason he gave. They accept it because it's what they were taught. And even if they try to stray away, even if they realize it's just money, they're still going to feel like there's some sort of attachment to it. It's some sort of value. Like how certain people get depressed when they find out there's no value, even though, that's a good thing. It's because people still feel value because of how they were taught. Honestly, zizek is just idealistic Marxist stance. That's it. Because that's all he has. I'm not idealistic. I think his switching between Lacan and Hegel to try to solve each other and improve each other repeatedly is kind of strange, and Lacan wasn't even right about a lot of things. He focused too much on the idea of mentality and the subjective, idealistic ways the mind works instead of how it actually works, which is, the stupidity of roboticness that people truly have. And especially with their insecurity, goodness thing that everyone tends to portray. On Hegel, though, all I found is that majority of my ideas in some way or form kind of did connect to Hegel. I understand Hegel's thing on the ego and on the self and the negation of it, and I agree with that, truly. But I agree with that. I think that is the reason that it does not exist. What he associates as the law for existence, what proves something exists, is what I see as what proves something doesn't exist. And it's truly a shame. The problem about creating dialect for self, in my opinion, is that it doesn't work because self does not affect someone's behavior. Since self is someone's behavior, sure. But self also is very robotic and combust. It does not change. People always work in the same way. Therefore, I don't think that it can be seen in a different dialectal lighting. Because everyone's the same. And the only one who proves my theory wrong is me, and that's it. So, I don't believe that Lacan was right about psychology, and I think the Hegel's idea of what is reality and what is the way to negate the self is completely wrong. Really. I do want to say on, if I could remember, the negation of the negation. I think in term Ficht's dialect's better than Hegel's in reality. You can't have the negation of the negation to be a synthesis between so you have capitalism and the negation of capitalism, which in this case would be like Marxism or something. Then the negation of that would be anti-Marxism, which can be either capitalist or socialist. But in the end, that just has both systems in a way in a sort of mixture of it, but I don't see that as a synthesis between it. And then you just go, well, I think that yes, one's wrong, but others wrong too, and that doesn't solve anything. I don't think the negation is the issue. I think that Marx's and Fich's dialectal system worked better than Hegel's, but I agree with him on the idea of certain things, and I feel like he was wrong on what makes things exist. Very, very wrong on that. I don't really know. So, after that, what else was I going to talk about? I remember, I don't really understand the whole thing. So, my assessment's tomorrow. I don't know how that's gonna go.